You're lost. Night is falling quickly, and you're far from your intended destination. Listen closely. This is your survival lesson for today. You need a reliable heat source tonight. Without fire, hypothermia sets in fast. Cold can lead to dangerous mistakes and severe trouble. If you don't act now, the cold will endanger your health quickly. Let's start with the basics of building and maintaining a safe campfire. Remember, always check local laws regarding open fires before starting one. Subject: night falls and you are not where you should be first. Assess your surroundings carefully. Look around for a dry spot sheltered from the wind. A fallen tree can make an excellent natural barrier against cold winds. Notice that ridge over there. The slope might offer protection from harsh breezes. Once you've found your spot, gather materials for a fire. It's crucial to find both dry and damp wood, since they serve different purposes in building a fire. Dry wood burns easily, while wet wood can be used once the initial fire is established. Look for twigs no thicker than a pencil and dry leaves, or pine needles as tinder. Remember, starting a campfire always requires following local laws and obtaining any necessary permits to avoid breaking regulations. Now look for kindling, sticks around the thickness of your thumb that break easily when bent. This indicates they are dry enough to catch fire. Begin by collecting smaller pieces and gradually work up to larger ones. Always remember to positively identify any plants or materials you encounter with a field guide or expert to ensure safety. Laws regarding gathering wood may vary, so be sure to check local regulations before taking anything from the wild. Next comes the real work, building the fire. Start by laying down your tinder in a loose pile to ensure good airflow. Make sure it's not too dense so air can circulate freely. Now place your kindling over and around the tinder, creating a pyramid or tippy shape. This allows you to light one side, enabling flames to spread easily. Remember, always check local laws before starting any fire in the wild, and ensure you have permission from landowners if necessary. Dry, small, well insulated from the wind and elements. That's what keeps you alive tonight. But remember to build your shelter on permitted land and respect local regulations. Now for the hard part, making a spark. No matches. Use a knife or a ferrocerium rod to create friction. Take a piece of dry bark and strike it against your ferro rod until you see sparks. Sparks mean heat. Keep going and soon enough, those sparks will hit your tinder, igniting it into flame. Remember, always ensure that you have the legal right to make campfires in the area where you are, and practice responsible fire safety at all times. Got those first flames? Excellent. Gradually build your fire by adding small pieces of dry wood or kindling, placing them near the base, and allowing the fire to warm up naturally before introducing larger logs. Remember never to add too much material all at once, as this can smother the fire. Always ensure you have permission to light a fire in the area and check local regulations on campfires, especially during dry seasons when wildfires are more likely to occur. Start a fire now, making sure it is contained and safe. Watch how the flames spread, listen to the crackle, and hear the snap of burning wood. This warmth can be a lifesaver in the wilderness. But remember, always follow local laws regarding open fires and ensure you have permission to light one if needed. Here's what matters. Without proper shelter and warmth from a fire, hypothermia is a serious risk. Hypothermia can kill you if not treated promptly. A steady flame does keep you warm, but remember to build your fire safely and legally, following local guidelines. The light also signals to others where you are for potential rescue. Additionally, in the dark, it may deter some animals looking for an easy meal, though it's crucial to identify any animal threats correctly and avoid attracting dangerous ones like bears near your campsite. Dry wood, sheltered wind, and controlled growth, those are your rules. So far, so good. Now keep this up. Don't let your fire go out. Add more fuel as needed, but only use dry wood. Never burn green or wet branches, as they produce excessive smoke and hinder heat retention. Splitting sticks in half can help expose the heartwood for better burning. Remember, always adhere to local laws regarding campfires, and ensure you do not ignite them in prohibited areas. And don't sit too close. Embers can pop and burn skin, so keep a safe distance of at least arm's length. Additionally, be aware that laws regarding campfires vary by location, so always check local regulations before building one. Building a fire is crucial for warmth and safety at night. However, if your fire goes out and you can't relight it, hypothermia becomes a serious risk quickly, especially in cold or wet conditions. Always have backup fire-starting materials like waterproof matches or a fire starter tool, and know how to make fire without modern tools. Stay dry and seek shelter immediately if necessary. No fire means cold means mistakes. Hypothermia can set in faster and more dangerously than you might expect, especially at night. Your body loses heat 25 times faster when submerged in water compared to air. But even dry, still cold conditions overnight can be perilous. Wet clothes can freeze to your skin, accelerating heat loss and increasing the risk of hypothermia rapidly. So keep dry, stay active, and don't panic. Stay warm by generating body heat through movement, but avoid sweating, as dampness accelerates hypothermia risk. Always purify water before drinking to prevent illness, and seek shelter to protect against the elements. Remember, local laws apply even in emergencies, so know what is legal regarding trapping or hunting for food if necessary. Now let's talk about food. No meat. Fine, look for plants. But never eat anything from the wild, unless you can positively identify it with absolute certainty, using a reliable field guide or consulting an expert. Don't guess. Poisonous plants like hemlock or nightshade can be deadly and often resemble safe foods. Stick to familiar foods only if you are 100% sure of their identity, and always err on the side of caution when it comes to foraging. Water. That's another critical concern. Dehydration sets in quickly without it, so finding water sources is essential. Streams or ponds can provide water, but you must purify it by boiling to kill pathogens, even if the water appears clear. If a fire isn't an option, use a cloth filter followed by a solar still for purification. However, your top priority tonight should be building a fire to keep warm and signal for help. Build a fire and stay safe. Remember, hypothermia can set in quickly as temperatures drop at night. A reliable flame provides warmth and security, helping you survive until dawn when rescue or movement becomes possible again. Always gather enough wood before dark to ensure your fire burns steadily throughout the night. Keep in mind that local laws may restrict open fires in certain areas, so be aware of regulations and use fire responsibly. So here's what you do next. Check your supplies. Do you have a flashlight or headlamp with extra batteries, matches or a lighter, and a sturdy knife? Ensure you also carry water purification tablets or a filtration device for finding safe drinking water. If anything is missing, improvise now before dark sets in fully, but always prioritize safety over convenience. Use every resource wisely. Remember that your tools can serve multiple purposes out here. For example, a bandana can be used as a signal cloth, and your knife can aid in setting up shelter or creating fire-starting materials. However, never forget to adhere to local laws regarding survival activities like trapping, hunting, fishing, and foraging, especially concerning protected species and seasons. Additionally, Always positively identify any plants or mushrooms with an expert guidebook before consuming them to avoid poisoning risks. And keep moving if it's safe to do so, considering the risk of injury and exposure. If you are injured, stay put and signal for help with smoke from a fire or mirror flashes. These methods work better than hoping someone will find you by chance. Always remember that staying visible and making noise can also attract attention, but only if it doesn't worsen your situation. No fire means cold means danger. Hypothermia can set in quickly, especially if you're not prepared. Your body loses heat 25 times faster when submerged in water compared to air. Even if just damp or wearing wet clothing, the risk of hypothermia increases significantly as the night progresses and temperatures drop. Always prioritize finding shelter and staying dry to avoid rapid heat loss. So stay dry, keep active, and watch the fire closely. It's crucial for warmth and safety. A steady flame can mean the difference between life and death by preventing hypothermia. Remember to gather enough wood before nightfall, since it's harder to find in the dark, and never leave your campfire unattended to avoid wildfires. Now let's recap. Find a sheltered spot, gather plenty of dry wood, build a controlled fire using proper tinder and kindling, and maintain it throughout the night. Remember to keep your fire small and contained to avoid wildfires. This is simple yet crucial for warmth and safety. Always ensure you have permission to light fires in the area and follow local regulations. Dry, small, sheltered from the wind, those are your rules tonight. Build a fire now, stay warm, and signal for help if possible. Night falls quickly in the wilderness, and temperatures drop rapidly, increasing your risk of hypothermia. Do not attempt to move after dark unless you are certain of your destination, or it is an absolute emergency. Dawn will come eventually, but until then, prioritize warmth and safety. This is educational only. Foraging, hunting, and fishing carry real risks and are governed by local laws and seasons. Always verify plant and animal IDs with an expert. Follow your local regulations, and never eat anything you cannot 100% identify as safe. First things first, if you're out in the wild when night falls and you haven't set up camp yet, stop moving. Don't wander around hoping to find a better spot. Chances are you won't, and you'll just waste precious energy. Find the nearest trees or rocks that can break the wind. If there's a natural nook nearby, lean into it, as this will provide better protection from the elements. However, remember to build a proper shelter using debris and branches for insulation against the cold. The less exposed you are, the warmer you'll stay through the night. Always ensure you have a fire for heat and light if conditions allow, and you're in an area where doing so is legal. Gather dry wood now while it's still light out. Look for dead branches low to the ground or hanging off trees. Snow and ice tend to accumulate higher up where it's more protected. Scrape away snow from small sticks beneath the surface. Avoid big logs, as they are difficult to ignite without proper tools. Remember, when collecting wood, respect local regulations and always ensure you're not damaging live vegetation. Start with tinder, dry leaves, moss, grass clippings, or paper if you have it. Tinder needs to light easily and burn long enough to catch your kindling. If everything is wet from snowfall, find some birch bark or the inner layer of pine cones. Both can work wonders for starting a fire. However, be aware that finding dry materials in snowy conditions can be challenging, so always carry waterproof matches or a fire starter like waxed cotton or fire start cubes as backups.